there's a camera up there. Yeah.
Frazier. We got Jason Weller here.
Jason Weller in the house.
Yeah.
We about to find out the real stories.
I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared.
About to find the truth, dude. That's what we're looking for, the truth.
What? I promised my brother we wouldn't fist fight today, so.
How are we gonna fist fight with a dead arm?
I got the southpaw, dude.
Yeah. What do we got, Frazier? Sunday?
I'm rocking them jumpers.
Sunday the 12th.
Yeah.
Sunday the 12th, dude. This is a magical show, dude.
Oh, man.
I got to have my
We already
brother
found
Jason.
out his balls are dripping. He got poison oak balls.
Yeah, but I got to have my brother Jason on the
Really?
show. You got your brother Jason on the show, dude.
You know, don't bring it up, dude. I can't even get a girl to talk to me right now because of my poison oak balls, and you got to bring it up.
Okay, I won't bring it up. We won't talk about it.
It's leaking different this time, dude. Who cares?
It's a different league, dude.
What do you got, Frage?
All right, we got today happening in the Gulch area. We got the, what is it, balloon fair or something?
The hot air balloon.
Hot air balloons being let go, and we got Lieutenant Colonel Tito out there with my two daughters, Isabel and Maya, and they're all rocking Fellas 92 shirts, so what's up to them?
Nice.
Let's see.
Who do you got? Who do you got this week, Frazier?
We got James from Oregon. What's up, James? Thanks for subscribing, man. Christian. I don't have a place for that guy. Stephanie and Tina. All no states.
Oh, okay.
But 4 new subscribers. We're on our way to 100. Hope you can get there.
Shout
Like I
out
said,
to
we got a
Murphy and the
special
band.
guest today, so we'll let Jay...
Introduce himself.
yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself. Get that mic a little closer.
Jason Weller from Galt, California, born in Lodi, and love it. I love Galt. Galt's changed a lot, so you know, it is what it is. Gotten big.
You mean Galt, like right between Lake Tahoe and Santa Cruz, Galt?
So what do we got today, Jay? We got the padded room. We got security outside.
Well, I got my driver here just in case. I got a getaway car, all the stuff.
Yeah, I seen that, dude. I seen it, man.
If she drives good, babysits enough, she can be my girlfriend.
Oh, you did it like that, huh? Oh, boy. Does she know about the poison oak action?
Not yet.
Hey, you know what it is? It's mud, dude. You got to put mud on it to...
Yeah.
I was trying to use it and say, hey, I'm good, you know.
How do you get poison oak on your balls?
You know, I don't know, dude. At least I got it off my crack now, but it's just on my balls left. So
I guess that's what you call poison oak if you don't know what it is.
It's no joke. If you never had poison oak, dude, I don't even wish it on my
Did you get it at Lake Alpine?
No, I don't know. I think Monterey, maybe. Maybe Monterey.
You take a shit in the bushes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how you do it. Take a shit.
Those leaves apparently weren't just any leaves.
What are they? 5-leaf spotted plant?
You know, I don't even know. I just know that when I swelled up down underneath the pants, I rushed to the emergency room crying. And thought they were going to give me a shot, dude. And after making fun of me, they gave me a shot in the arm instead. But I'm telling you, man, you don't want that stuff, dude.
Dude,
I've never even seen it that big, dude.
I don't think I've ever had it, man.
I don't think so either.
Hey, you don't want to swell up with that stuff, dude. Trust me, it's not cool, man.
Maybe make your junk look bigger, though.
Well, yeah for a little bit.
So let's get into it, dude. Who killed Tupac?
No, hold on, dude. Let's roll that up.
Oh, yeah, we got the board. Start with the board.
Yeah, we rolled into Little Lake Alpine, though, and my history with Jay is, me and Will have been friends for a long time. This guy was always his little brother. And I'm talking back to the Commodore 64 days.
Oh, yeah.
Because Weller would get tired of playing basketball on their shit, but then I would play Jay. You remember that old 6-bit Commodore 64 you guys had?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
You remember it, Dave?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It was cool, man.
Yeah.
We used to take this guy out fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Had some good
Hey,
time.
there ain't nothing you guys haven't done to me. I've been toilet bowled. I've been stripped naked, made run home. Miss Boone, the principal, pulled me out of a trash can because I couldn't get out. All that, dude.
That was back when hazing was allowed at school.
Jeez,
We grew up in a time when hazing was okay.
when bullying was on the forefront.
But I think that it had its place though, because eventually you become the seniors and you're the ones doing that. I think it had its place, dude.
Well, that and you guys kind of stuck up for me if anyone else tried to trash can me. So I'd rather just get trash canned by one group than all the groups. You know.
Put our claim on it. It's like that movie Dazed and Confused. We watched it with the kids the other night because they're getting ready to go to high school. And I told them, I said, that shit was like accepted. They had paddles in the movie, remember? That was a good one.
I watched it multiple times.
Yeah, they go around and spank people's asses and shit.
Yeah, that was back in the 70s.
Still, some of the states, Mississippi areas, parents sign the paper, they still paddle them. But it just depends the state you live in.
Oh, that's cool.
The rule.
See, I know America's still out there, dude.
There's some.
Dude, that's when America was great, dude. Everybody gets spanked. Dude, all I gotta say is you are by far the best dressed guest we've had, dude. You are looking fucking tight.
Oh,
I'm
man.
president sometimes, so I gotta look sharp, dude.
You're doing what?
Good.
I said I'm representing the president sometimes, so I gotta look sharp, dude.
Ooh, okay.
But that's later on the message board.
All right.
That's down on the message board.
All right. Well, the other one I wanted to get off about Lake Alpine was, and stop me if I've told this story before, Weller, but
Stop.
it was me, you, three-way. We're out on a canoe.
Stop. You already told this one.
Did I?
Yeah.
All right.
Three-way start crying.
I thought you were going to tell the story. I was sitting next to the fire. I watched all you guys come out of the forest naked. I'm not sure what you were doing
we were snipe hunting, dude. That's the other
all
one.
the moms and dads made you get dressed real fast, dude.
Maybe that's what made you battle the homosexuals, huh?
Well, it threw me for a loop, dude. Messed me up in college, but...
What happens is, and if there's any kids watching, there's this it's a rare bird. It's called a snipe. It's about this big, but a big one can get to about 2 feet. And the only way you can catch a snipe, apparently, is if you're in your underwear and you need red vine licorice. And you have to go out in a group and, triangulate the snipe and then come in and get him. And we were probably out there hunting for snipe in our underwear for probably 30 minutes before we figured it out. But if any kids are listening, put in that extra 5-10 minutes. You might get one because we quit at about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Good eating.
I don't want to break any kids' dreams. That was what was going on.
Well, I was too little to understand it. I just seen a bunch of kids running around naked, wondering what was going on, dude.
Yeah, we were coerced into getting it. But I guess that's good on the Alpine stories. And then I want to tell you, it's one of the best places to go camp and vacation. There's big rocks you can still jump off of.
Just stocked the lake.
Yeah.
This year.
They stocked the lake, and saying there was some big old fish up in there.
Oh, yeah.
Breeder. And it's not that far, man. It's like, what, 2 hours?
2 hours. It's beautiful.
2.5 hours, yeah.
It's a beautiful place. It's a little bit overpopulated now because we've been airing it to everybody, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you can go to Mosquito. Mosquito's like 5 minutes.
We've been to Mosquito. We camped at Mosquito.
Yeah. Little ass lake. It's like 5 feet deep, but it holds fish.
Yeah, we caught fish there.
Yeah. Good place. All right, close that joker out, man.
Go ahead. You get to do it.
Is this the one?
Yep.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, that's the one I liked when I watched the show. I kind of liked that one.
Yeah, we'll close out the topic. So then we'll slide down to. Jay came up with this topic of Tupac, dude.
Yeah, who shot Tupac? You say you know.
Tell us what happened, man.
No, just my theory on this Tupac stuff. To me, he was the cops. Like, I always thought he was the cops, because who runs around the country threatening the cops and lives, dude? This dude was thugging, dog. And so I just assumed that he was the cops. But now they say a gangster got him or whatever, so I guess we'll never know. But... I don't know.
This is what tripped me out about Tupac, because he was in Digital Underground, and you seen him running around in neon spandex pants with the Cabrillo flipped hat in the front, right? Doing all the moves. I know he's a dancer and stuff for him, but he goes from doing that, like Humpty Dance type songs and shit.
No, he was always activist, always since a little kid. His mom was in the Black Panthers.
No, I know she was,
Yeah.
but he wasn't, dude.
He was always an activist his whole life. Everybody you talk to, you listen to, they said he was an activist his whole life.
I can go along with the activist thing, but what I'm saying is he was a dancer.
Mhm.
He wasn't a gangster. And then when he comes out on his own, he's a gangster.
He wasn't that. He wasn't a gangster. And then when he did come out, he was a gangster. And the people, a lot of I was listening to these people talking, a lot of the gangbangers was like, if he did that right nowadays, he'd be a faker.
That's what I'm saying.
But he was an activist, but he wasn't, he pretended to be a fucking gangbanger.
That's why Chris Rock wrote that movie, CB4.
Right.
I know he did well for himself, and a lot of people were jealous and hating on him. But when you do good, he's a young, dark American, did good, and people hate on that.
Well, I think the people that are hating though are the people that were in the streets with them and saying, "Hey, you weren't putting it down. You weren't earning your gang cred, your street cred. You know."
So some of his issue he organized with the police in a kind of a wrong way, and it ain't good. It's not, if you're out thugging all that stuff, you don't want to be organizing with the police army. It might come blow us all up at the same time, dude.
Well, I'm wondering, like with Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, especially Snoop, man. This guy talks in his songs about being a Crip and wearing the bandana on his left side because that's the Crip side.
Because it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
but he's not gangbanging anymore.
If I was a Blood, though, what better notoriety would you get than to go take out Snoop?
Because he's well respected.
You'd be like, oh, that Blood Frazier killed that fool because he was Crip walking on Sunset or whatever.
You're touching on some shifty grounds, dude. But
break it down, Jason. Break it down.
No, but the main thing is the kids need to get along and enjoy. Some of that thug stuff, I think, was more for the limelight, just to get it out there, turn money, all the stuff. And I think it got a little out of hand because some of the younger ones suck it up. They suck all that stuff up.
Yeah,
start
but
crazy.
look at, like, you got Crenshaw boys, you got the 22 Hustlers, right? They don't get along. No, I'm serious. Bloods and Crips, dude. Those guys live and die by those colors. That's what they do.
You got Galt Boys.
Colors. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of the jungle, just gangsters stalking.
Yeah. Dude, you guys are pretty good. You guys should get a studio. Serious.
Hey, that's from the heart, man. That's what. If you know the song, jump in.
Studio, man.
Next time it happens, you know the song, just jump in, dude.
I think most of people now want to hear about what the ICW is. Everybody always wants to know what Jason Weller's talking about when he talks about the ICW.
See, I'm unaware of this situation, but I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah, well,
break it down.
It's a good topic, but what I want to say is we're going to save the craziness for Facebook. But we're going to keep it calm, selective. But reality is, my issue is we have insurance people that made some illegal insurance rules that say they can steal money. In layman's terms.
Now, what kind of insurance people are you talking about? Groups?
Yeah, like for example, ICW group. They got this guy, Mr. Pryor. His excuse is we're hurting the families because it's a company policy. We know we're hurting American families, but it's a company policy. Then when you talk to uneducated folks, they say, well, that's just the way it is. So they've accepted it over time because these guys, sometimes they're too powerful with their money. Sometimes they are murdering thugs. But, I mean, I'm not going to be scared to speak up when you have a mom and dad going to work every day, 20 years working the same job. Some of these people generating millions of dollars for an employer. They get hurt and they got to go years, no welfare, or even months is crazy. Even if you got to go 6 months, 3 months because you got hurt at work.
Now you're saying welfare. Do you mean like food stamps and stuff like that? Or are you talking about disability?
Yeah, well, the system's set up where we pay temporary disability, and we can back up a little bit. Originally, we always paid money for the welfare, and it wasn't enough. So the government came in and said, let's earmark some more money in case you get hurt at work. So they came and took a little bit more money out of your check, but this is for you if you get hurt at work. And they collect that money maybe 2-3 years. If you don't use it, it goes to the general fund. And for another 2-3 years, you pay in your temporary disability because you might get hurt at work. You might need food. And that's what welfare is. It's to supply food, resources. So what happens is the person gets hurt at work. The employer applies for some benefits. The doctor orders food into that home because, Johnny Lou smashed his hands and his kids aren't going to eat. And then the insurance guy made a rule where he could just shut all that off.
So what you're using a terminology of food as for the financial means, like a doctor says this guy's got a disability,
Well,
He deserves
yes.
a disability check.
Well, when the Army warlorded all the money and they decide to distribute it, it's looked at as food. People like me, veterans, we look at it as food. Some people, they're concerned about welfare. Reality is the world's tough, and we're American. We pride ourselves on that, so we allow our kids to eat. We allow them wheelchairs, stuff like that. Mexico, you can kill the competition, get rich, and you can watch people drag themselves around with no legs because they don't get free wheelchairs until someone steps on them, they're dead. But thing is we're in America. We've had a lot of war stuff because of that issue. We need to make sure our kids eat. And if you have just to make it very clear, if you have a doctor, employer, and videotape saying, hey, this person got hurt at work, that welfare should be immediate. But when you got an insurance man that stole enough tax money and got the big enough lawyer to say, we don't care what doctor, employer, employee, or videotape say, they're not getting no welfare and shutting it off, that's an issue for me, man. To me, it's terrorism. But, I mean, I can't find the guy to beat him up. I'm dad. I'm worse than a thug. So if I could find the guy, I'd probably choke him until he passed out. But reality is, I would like to see it fixed. I just want it to where, our representatives, our federal representatives say, hey, you know what? Enough's enough. If this guy got hurt at work, turn on the food. Everyone else gets it. I have neighbor and never worked, gets it uninterrupted 5 years. I don't have an issue with that.
So how do you feel about it? The illegals that roll in and get free cash aid, they get stamps to buy food, they get a place to put up, their kids get free education. How do you feel about that when an American veteran is having all this process, but these cats roll in and get it like that?
Exactly. And what I should share is we do have universal health care in America only for the veterans, and it works. It works. I just read a book of a man who went to France and different countries where they have universal health care. He was American with a bad shoulder, dead arm, just like me. And he went around and he could have got surgery in 2 weeks in Canada. Because everyone says the lines are long, the waits are long. Well, I'd rather wait than not be in line.
Yeah.
Instead of working to pay for everyone to go to the hospital but you. It's not right.
Yeah.
So, and since we're touching the subject, I just want to share, for 6 years, I paid right around $650 a month to have health insurance for my family. I got hurt at work. I woke up paralyzed and couldn't do anything. And I missed one insurance check. I didn't have no doctor. I didn't have insurance. I couldn't see a doctor. The insurance people told my doctor not to see me or you're not going to get paid. So the doctor said, hey, face to face, he told me this. I know it's inhumane, but the insurance told me if I can't see you. I went to the employer saying, hey, what the hell? We pay. He pays, and you can't get help. It's crazy, bro. And
what year was that?
What irritates me is a lot of the Christians, too, they're working on feeding kids in other countries and all that stuff. And right here, whether you want to believe it or not, we have infants today without food in their home because their parent got hurt at work. That's wrong, brother.
What year did you say that go down, man? When did you get hurt?
I got hurt December 2013. That's when I woke up paralyzed.
It explains a lot, man, because it was under Obama. So
and thank God I am a veteran. If I wasn't a veteran today, I would be, brother. I'm just going to tell you, I might be in prison or dead. But because I'm a veteran, the VA stepped in and helped. And they've done some great things, but you shouldn't have to be a veteran to get help. These men and women are killing other people for you to get help. That should just happen. You shouldn't be a...
that's what kind of way Weller feels about it, man. Like, everybody should get to take care of free health care.
We're not PG&E. We're not starting fires, dude. We're out trying to make things better.
But yeah, you know what? At one point, I disagree with most of what Jason always says, but he's right about everybody should get fucking healthcare. There's enough. We pay in enough taxes in this government into this country to get free healthcare, and it's possible. It's just the government mismanages all this money.
Well, let me ask you this:
easy.
Why not free houses? You build houses. Why
no. I'm talking about a quality of life. I'm talking about what you need. A quality of life is you need healthcare for a quality of life. And when that's why I told somebody at work, I said, if you're arguing about not having health care, then what are you arguing? Because it works everywhere else, and you could have it. Like, we pay into taxes. We pay in so much money to taxes. The problem is they mismanage the money. There is money there for fucking healthcare. Yeah. They just mismanage it.
The biggest mismanagement of it is they're giving it to people who haven't earned it.
Yeah,
that's the biggest mismanagement.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
Here's the situation.
These people have put $0 into it. They're just taking.
If you drive right over to Lodi and you take all the welfare money away from Lodi Memorial Hospital, it's gonna shut down. If you drive over to any local like big hospital and you take all the money that you are paying, it's gonna shut down. Then why can't you go there and get seen? That's my point. You know, this guy's gonna go through hell because he works and needs to get seen by a doctor, but you can just be a bum and go get it.
Yeah. Here's my thing too. So people say that everybody should have free healthcare, right? I think you need a home before anything. You need a place to live before you even think about healthcare, because you're not living if you're not in a home, man. You're out there homeless. You're living on the streets and shit, right? Yeah. So why shouldn't everybody have free houses?
Well, here's the situation.
No, I'm talking about quality of life. Like, there's a couple things that you need: food, water, healthcare.
Dude, you're hurting. House is number one.
Well,
you need shelter first.
Here's the thing, though.
He's got a trailer.
When you're hurting and you go in and you're homeless and you see the doctors work on that. I noticed that I work with federal medical staff, so their first questions when you get there is, are you homeless? Are you working on being homeless? What's the deal? So all that is included in getting people off the street, off of drugs, if the doctors are doing their jobs. But I'm spoiled. I got the best doctors in the state, best surgeon in the state.
He's Trump. He's Trump. He got the best everything. We got the smartest people working with him right now.
And since we brought up the boss, he ordered us, even civilians, to help your left and help your right. He said, hey, ordered us on TV, help your left, help your right. If you do that, it'll work out. And I'm not sure
why. 2 wings to fly, bro. The left wing needs the right wing, right? Yep. You need 2 wings to fly.
But definitely the universal health care, it should have been done already. It's just a matter of someone stepping up and managing it right and saying, okay, well, you're going to have to wait 2 weeks longer. But guess what, Kevin? Because you're a working American, you can have a doctor too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I would say, like, I'm going to throw a Fraser percentage out there, but I'll say 90% of working Americans do have some form of health care coverage.
I would say that, but I don't think they have the coverage they need. Like you said, some of these people are having issues at home. So if you have good health care, you're going to have a doctor that can spot depression or different kinds of stuff.
That was one of the issues with the Obamacare, is that, like, all 3 of us now have prenatal care involved in our insurance. There's no reason we need prenatal care. We're not going to have babies, right?
Yeah.
We don't need that OBGYN stuff either. We don't need none of that, but now we're paying for it through our insurance, where we shouldn't be. That should be taken off.
No, there was a lot of shit that needed to be fixed in it. A ton of shit. But it was a start. We had to start somewhere. I think the start was a good thing. You have to start somewhere. You can't just start out perfect. I think it was something that should have been taken and then continually tweak. Yeah,
but your boy, Obama's boy, was even telling people, we didn't think they were going to pass this. We didn't think this was going to go through, because they knew what they were doing. They were out to get us from the get-go.
Interesting. You bring that up. It's pretty interesting. I don't know much about the funds that they're pulling in, like you said, the OBGYN and stuff like that. But, it's just mismanagement. They need to focus on getting everybody care instead of how to give some insurance man more money, because there's plenty of money.
And that's all it is the insurance company wants to make a grip of money, and that's all it is. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. And what's going to happen now is they're going to find a way right now to make even bigger profits. Yeah. That's all they're going to do.
And if you were to get the ethics office involved in my case, what they're going to find is they're using bad ethics to hurt people. And bad ethics are hard to prove, but to buy time on an American family, it should be outlawed.
No, I agree, man. You know, personally, as a child, I lived in a car. We were homeless several different times. My mom was a bandit, man. She would, because, now you got computers, but back in the day, she used to sign up for welfare in Lodi.
Yeah.
At the second half of the day, she signed up at Stockton. And back then, they would give her like $300 cash because she had 2 kids, food stamps, stay at a motel. They would give you shit right now today.
So her job was kind of to go around and apply for the benefits for you guys.
Yeah, but she would do that in every county, and that's how we just lived. We went county to county till she got racks, and then we moved out of state.
She was stacking chips. She's a hustler.
Yeah. See, that's when healthcare comes in. A doctor can step in and say, hey, you know what? You're very smart at doing this right here. So we'll give you a job working right here. Sign
Hey
the
man,
same
the way I
paperwork.
feel about, especially with the Obama phones, if you can talk on a phone, you can have a job, man. Because I got people call me all day, every day. Hey, you want to buy solar? Hey, do you want to buy?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
wanna
agree
buy,
100%.
Yeah, an island next to Eric Estrada out in Florida.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I bought some land.
I mean, I had to buy the Eric
Swamp
Estrada
land,
shit.
you gotta.
Come
Yeah,
on, dude.
it's gonna be a fortune in 100
Come on,
years.
that's where the dinosaurs are, bro.
There's oil there.
Well, I try to keep low income because it helps me as an American dad. I get some benefits, stuff like that. But oh yeah, if you want to turn your income out, there's a million ways to make $1 million. But just to me, I got enough people to feed. The more money you make, the more you have to feed. That's how
More
I
money,
look at
more
it.
problems.
Yeah. I mean, Dave might buy a car, but
that's why I don't. Well, that's why I don't work overtime, man. Because I figure if I make more money, I'm just gonna spend more money, man.
That's true.
That's what happens.
And I encourage everyone not to do that. Work your 8 hours a day. Go home. I'm 42 years old. The IRS marked me
Fucking
55.
old motherfucker, dude.
IRS marked me 55, 65 hour work body. So the thing is I never took breaks. I worked 2 full-time jobs. I did all that till I was no good. I got shoulders no good. So if you get a chance, take your breaks, eat lunch, don't wear yourself out, man.
Speak of the
Your
solar
day will
companies.
So
When are you gonna run for like government, Jason?
Are you gonna go political, man? That's what I heard too.
I'm injured still, and I'm using some drugs for it. So I don't want to represent anybody not being drug free. But if I get a point where my body's okay and I'm not dependent on something to make me feel better sometimes, then heck yeah, I wouldn't mind representing people. But unless you're sober and minded and off drugs and stuff, you can't be representing anybody.
Dude, that's how I want to roll city council. I want to go Galt City Council.
Well,
and eventually get to that pinnacle of Galt Mayor.
Ooh.
I'm hoping by 50, dude.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm 44, bro.
That would be good. I think you got a good heart.
Yeah.
So
We'll try, man.
So close it out.
All right.
I like the I've never heard the definition of homosexual like this guy explained it, because he's always online, but always fighting the homosexuals or agreeing with the homosexuals. So
I think that's an issue people have.
I want him to explain his definition of homosexual.
Yeah, because Jake, that's going to put a lot of clarification on it, man. Because what I consider infidelity, you're considering homosexuality.
So break it down.
Sex outside the family realm, basically. So yeah, my girlfriend puts me on homosexual turf because we're not married and we're humping just to hump. So it is what it is. Like, but if for example we got Mr. Spera, our gay friend, he loves his partner. He got married. He's within the family realm. I don't consider him a homosexual. I consider him a gay man with a good heart, man. Journalist. But main thing is, I've had people, encouraging me. They think if I get a girlfriend, life's gonna fix my ICW group. If I drink enough beer, it's gonna fix my ICW group, but it ain't. It's gonna take legislators, it's gonna take federal people, and right now they're all playing dumb. So it's
So what does that have to do with the homosexuals?
So they're saying pussy will fix this.
Yeah, that's what I feel like impressioned on me. Everybody's like, oh, he needs to get laid, he needs this, he needs a partner, all this stuff. But reality is, until I can stop an insurance man from hurting American families, then I'm in distress. I'm a United States Marine.
Okay, no, I know, I understand. We already went through that, but I want to know what the homosexual has to do with all that.
Well, just like I said, they're pushing homosexuality on me because I'm, not married, and they think that sex will calm you down, and I won't post on Facebook about a tax thief. But
homosexual, they want you to sleep with another man?
No, I mean, they've encouraged some girls on me too, but thing is
so you're saying they did encourage a man?
So, but dude, it's all been pushed over here. But the main thing is, dude, hey, don't bring up my college days. I'm sore about it, right? Hey,
sore? Where are you sore, Jake?
I said I'm leaking differently.
Is that really poison oak, dude?
I'm leaking differently, dude. But yeah, no, I have a different definition. Just sex outside the family realm, so it don't matter, guy, girl, whatever.
So your definition is different than the definition of like the dictionary definition.
Yeah, because like what he was saying, food earlier, welfare is food, right?
Okay.
I think that's finances and stuff. So he just used a different terminology.
So he's saying, well, everybody in the real world are saying homosexual is somebody who sleeps with the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
Well, not everybody. That's what I'm saying. You say that, you think that because someone has trained you to think that one boy with another boy. It could be homosexuality, but that doesn't mean because they're gay that they're homosexual.
So what about
So if you're saying that if you sleep outside your marriage, you're a homosexual with a woman?
Yeah, that's homosexuality. It's a form of it. I'm not saying there are blatant homosexuals that have denounced God.
So infidelity is homosexuality?
At all times.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Infidelity is homosexuality.
It's a form of it, yes.
What about dudes that got multiple wives? Is that cool because they're all married?
Well, I mean, it's cool, but it's still homosexuality. I mean, who don't want a bunch of wives?
What is that called? Polygamy?
Polygamy.
Jeez.
Polygamy, and that's in the ancient text, man.
That's in Utah.
Yeah.
That's how they do it around there.
I don't know, man. I got one wife, and she's enough, dude. I couldn't handle two, dude.
It's tough. I mean,
unless if one did the pools, one did the lawn, one cleaned, I could get down with that. Because I lost my pool man when my son moved out. Lost my gardener when my brother moved out.
Yeah.
Lost my laundries when the other girls moved out.
Oh yeah, the woman vitamins. It's a must. It keeps you living longer. All this stuff, but I mean, it's tough. There's some work.
Okay, so homosexuality is sexual attraction to people of one's own sex.
Well, that's the definition that Webster came out with.
Okay.
Is that Webster?
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell Webster that Mr. Weller got a different definition.
Mr. Weller's dictionary.
Yeah.
The Weller's
I'm
dictionary.
writing my own dictionary from now on.
No, dude, I just see it as you got a different term for it. That's it. But it's the same thing. You just got a different term for it. Man.
Yeah, and I think that over time, like, Christians have pegged gay people to be the homosexual because they're hiding sometimes what they're doing, in private or whatever. They're cheating on their wives on the internet, stuff like that, and then they peg the gay guy to be the homosexual. But reality is he's committing homosexuality online when his wife's at work. And just like, for example, eye for an eye, for example. Yeah. The Christians say, God said an eye for an eye. When the slave owner runs over the slave, then you got to let him free. You got to give him a little piece of property. You got to give him some food. You ran his leg over, he can't work. But the Christians say, he can murder, so you got to murder or whatever. But it's people have interpreted. I shouldn't say not all Christians, but I'd say a lot of Christians have misinterpreted the Bible because they go by what someone else said about the Bible and haven't even read it. And so there's...
Dude, it's like that with everything, bro. Especially politics. People aren't into politics. They just like read the box score on a game and they act like they watched the game. No, you didn't watch the game. You saw the box score. Yeah. They have no idea what happened in the game. But they'll take you saw him do that, so I heard you say you saw him do that, so I'm taking what you said and saying, hey, that's got to be the truth. It's Christians for you.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are some really good Christians out there with good hearts, but I think sometimes it gets to their head that they're a little bit better than someone else, or they're living right, so they need to attack the other people. The best way to go about that kind of stuff, continue to live right, don't attack nobody, and someone's going to catch on. Someone's going to, out of love, they're going to catch on, but as soon as you start telling them they're wrong, they're doing this, they ain't hearing you. It's like telling a kid to not that he can't do something. The first thing now he wants to do it.
Yeah. They can't play with fireworks till the 4th of July. You're trying to light some off on the 2nd.
Exactly.
I seen this cat. I told Weller about this. I seen this cat, man. I'm working at his house. Good demeanor. Clean house. Everything's tight in line. I thought he was military or something. Get to talking to him, and I asked him. I seen some symbols and some shit, so I knew he was into religion. And I said, what religion are you, man? He goes, I'm Baha'i. And because I saw the way he is living, the way he's doing his stuff, I wanted to check out Baha'i. So when I checked out Baha'i religion, it's actually a pretty tight religion, man.
Sikh. You ever check out Sikh religion?
Yeah.
That's yeah. You know what? I heard this joke. It was pretty good. It was from a guy who heard it from his pastor. He said this guy died, and he goes to heaven, and he's in heaven, and he's got Jesus walking around showing him everything. And he goes, hey, over there are the Christians, but shh. And then he goes over here, and he goes, over there are the Muslims, but shh. And he's going through all the groups, and he goes, why do you want me to keep quiet when every time we go by a group? He goes, because they all think they're the only ones here.
That's pretty good. And if you remember the story, the lady fought through the concert of people, touched Jesus. She got healed. When he turned around, he didn't say, because I'm Jesus, you are healed. He said, because in your head, you believed that if you touched this, you were going to get healed. So my faith and belief is a big thing here on earth that you can use.
Have you seen The Secret? The show The Secret?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
You seen The Secret, Dave?
Mm-mm.
That's what The Secret's about, man. It's pretty tight. And there's all kinds of biblical scholars, professors, professional people, even just regular people. Guy was in a plane crash. They told him he'd never walk again. He said, I'm walking out of here on Christmas. Because of his own faith, his own belief he had in association with God, he walked out of there.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
I believe it.
that's what The Secret teaches you is manifest destiny. Whatever you believe will happen, can happen.
You're speaking. So you can speak stuff into existence. If you speak negative, negative stuff's going to happen. If you speak positive, positive stuff's going to happen.
Yeah, you think bad shit's going to happen? Like, fuck, I'm going to go drinking and I'm probably going to get a DUI.
You probably are.
Probably going to happen.
Yeah. You fucking talk good shit.
So I learned what homosexual actually means now. See, I never knew what homosexual meant. Now I know.
Well, you know, it is what it is. That's kind of how I look at it. Sex outside the family realm.
Sex outside the family realm is homosexuality.
So, like, when you're dating, you can't have sex when you're dating. You got to be married?
Or else that's homosexual.
A form of homosexuality. That's how I believe it.
Where did you get that from?
Because you're outside the family realm.
I know. I'm just curious. I don't. I've never heard that before.
Well, because if you really study it, like, God was against it because it does create disease. Two clean poops create disease. That's what typically in like the gay relationships, hepatitis is a big issue they deal with because they're doing it a little bit different.
Two clean poops?
Yeah, two clean
That's
poops.
what I thought I heard.
Hepatitis. So that's why if you have, you know, a big gay area of you know, people that are doing sex the wrong way, then you're going to get disease and stuff like that. And that's why I believe God was against it. He's not against the person. He wants them living longer, healthier lives. That's what if you read the good book, it says if you don't read this and get love and live longer and be healthier, then you didn't read this.
What about if you're having anal sex with a woman? She's got poop. So
you got one poop? Yeah, don't reach your finger back there and mix poops, dude.
What? What?
He's saying that the recipe.
I know what he's saying.
The recipe for hepatitis is two different.
Well, it can be. It doesn't happen every time, but it definitely can happen, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Don't mix poops, kids.
Yeah, at home.
Have you seen that video where
do this at home?
Where the guy poops into the girl and the girl poops back in?
No, I don't watch that shit. No.
Oh shit, that shit's funny, dude. Yeah, they poop forever.
So don't do that. Yeah. Basically, it's what Jason's saying. Don't do that.
That's why I'm wondering if Jason.
Don't mix poops.
Well,
mix up some shirts. We can make up some shirt that says "Don't mix poops."
Now peas, I'm not sure, but poops not good, dude. Not good.
Yeah, because you mix pee all the time.
I gotta give it up.
That was good shit.
Oh, real quick before I forget.
Not real quick. Take your time.
Jay Harrison was on the show.
Yeah.
And that guy, he has a godly heart. He loves people.
Yeah.
And thing is when we get universal health care squared away and all that, then we could give to all Jay Harrison's programs because he's always pushing, and it is a godly thing to do. He's pushing for old people that can't take care of themselves. But some of those old people that can't take care of themselves, they need to be living in their kids' home and being cared for. And a lot of times the American kids are quick to put them in a home, and then Jay's got to go raise money and stuff like that for them. But reality is a lot of these people need to go home. Their kids, the American kids, need to learn to take care of their parents till the end. Yeah, dad has to live in your home. Big deal. And you'll be fine.
Dude, they don't have that problem in other countries. The convalescent society is basically American society, dude. Because in other countries, they don't have that. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. The Hispanics down in Mexico, they take care of their old people until...
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. But fortunately, we have people like Harrison that chooses to go help these people. I think he should be commended 100%.
No, I commend him, but we need to bring it back. We need, those programs are fine, and if we get universal health care set up, everybody's doing fine, then let's support these programs.
My daughter does that. She works at Charlton. It's a whole group, old folks home, and then she also works a second job with a private client.
Okay.
So she can handle it, man. I couldn't handle it. She gets tight. She becomes friends with these people, knows their whole life, and then boom, they die. And that's part of work.
I've had the Packies come and say, hey, you know what? I got a new respect for you. And I thought, man, what the hell is this guy gonna beat me up or what? But what he said was, I brought my dad in. My dad was going through a little bit of a hard time. I brought him into my house, and reality is if you don't look at it in a financial perspective, he's a bigger help than money. He's a big help.
He's an asset, not a
liability. He's an asset, yeah. And they said, most American kids will not bring their parents in their home. They put them in a home. He even knows people, they rent an apartment so their dad can live over there. And I just think, hey, we need to bring it back, get that family structure back. Mom and dad can be at your house and complain about whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's why I got 6 kids, bro, because I got to get shot at one of them taking care of me.
Yeah. No, it matters.
Hey, you only got 1 kid, you might be asked out.
Pretty much. Well, if my driver's does good, I might make her my girlfriend and
what are you talking about?
Tubes or something.
What? Dude, so you're saying that you haven't had any homosexuality with her yet?
Well, not really. It kind of borderline, But with poison oak balls, I can't indulge.
Okay, let's say would oral sex be considered a homosexuality?
A form of it, yeah.
Form of it. So when Clinton was getting head from Monica Lewinsky, that's homosexuality.
He was homoing it out.
What about just the tip or just the finger?
Well, it depends. I mean, what was Clinton out of the family realm? I mean, yeah. I think so. I think it's homosexuality, but I mean, he was just a big guy. The bigger you are, harder you fall. We've all had our times in life when we played on the field. Huh?
Well, you want to close out homosexuality?
Close it out, Jason.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
There we go. What are we going on to now? Space Force?
Space Force.
What is that?
Well,
you brought it up, so what is it?
According to the media, because I haven't seen any documents or paperwork.
I got some knowledge on it. I got some too.
Which documents are important? I do carry documents proving that an insurance company can steal out of your check. But what they're saying is we're going to put a army of people on Space Force. So they're going to be called Space Force, United States Space Force, United States Air Force, different branch. And they're going to go up in space and blow things up, dude.
So what I heard about it was actually the Navy has this is the way it started. Back in the day, we just had a Navy.
Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Back in the day.
When I was just a little... Go ahead.
All right. So back in the day, the Navy just had boats, right? The Air Force had airplanes. The Army and the Marines had basically soldiers. But as we progress in our military, now the Navy also has air aviation, right? The Air Force has their own forms of jeeps and tanks and stuff like that, where the Marines have their own airplanes. The Army got their own airplanes. And what happens is each group now has something set up for space. The Navy has some space shit set up. So does the Air Force, the Army, and they all got it set up. So what they're talking about doing now is because if I'm in the Navy and I try talking to Jay, he's in the Army, we have Army and Navy regulation fighting each other over who does what, or who gets to use this, or whose fuel is it, or what pilot do we use, all that kind of shit. So now what they're going to do is break each one of these Space Force deals off of each of the 4 major branches and put them into one. So there is no more of that, hey, you're stealing my money, or you're stealing my pilot, or this is coming out of my money. So they basically have this shit already. They're just going to group it into one thing called Space Force.
So like a universal thing.
Yeah, Universal Space Force. And it's mostly for the Reagan shit, man, to be able to shoot down nuclear warheads or to shoot down satellites
Star Wars. It was called Star Wars, right?
Yeah, but what the guy was saying was we have our own GPS satellites that were set up there initially for the military. Now we use them on Waze or Google Maps and stuff like that, right? But that's the main thing. If the Russians or somebody really wanted to disable the American economy, everything, they would blow up one of our GPS satellites. And if they hit 2 of them, it would fuck up basically all the GPS shit on the world. Yeah. Then you wouldn't be able to use Scuds. You wouldn't be able to use nuclear warheads. Anything from ships or launching from planes that are hitting a target with GPS would all be fucked up.
Yeah. A whole lot of trash in space, too.
Yeah, so what they want to do is get us be the first to be up there. Like we have the Hubble Space Telescope up there. We have the International Space Station. We're gonna have our Space Force port up there, where they can send shit off from up in space to counteract these attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
But instead of they're going to create a new budget for it. But they're also going to pull budget from the Army, from the Navy, from the Air Force that's already there. And I guess NASA is in line. SETI. There's a bunch of different organizations already in our space shit that's going to just combine and become a space force. Like,
I'm kind of glad you explained that to me a little bit because I didn't quite understand like the organization of it.
yeah.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head kind of with what.
Well, that's what they do, bro. You know, like let's say we're going to go to a beach, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to use Marines. We're going to use the Navy. Well, the Navy might say, well, we can use our tugboats or our U-boats, and the Marine says, no, we got our own. Okay, well, you're going to use your tugboats, but who's paying for the gas?
Yeah.
Who's piloting the boat or captaining the boat? You know, so a lot of that bureaucracy is going to be taken out of it.
That's good. That's good. And we do need to protect space. Obviously, we got the Mars program, stuff like that.
Fucking Bezos, dude, that motherfucker is badass.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, last I heard, the president was telling me someone shot something in space. We got a bunch of trash floating around. So now, we got to clean it up, and I think that'll be a good job, for the troops and downtime in space. They can do the police call, pick up trash, because I mean, here they got to pick it up too. But
no, that's good, man. I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I don't mind the Army generating money for that kind of stuff. I mean, it creates jobs and all that. It's good for the economy.
When you think about it, bro, probably one of the biggest things that would hurt us is if they took out a GPS satellite, or if they took out some of these satellites that relay cell phone information. Right? If you took away everybody's cell phone, people would fucking go nuts if they didn't have their cell phone now.
Dude, you imagine? You imagine if the store shut down because the deliveries aren't making it there?
Yeah.
90% of people have never dressed a bird or, caught a fish and cleaned it, fried it up. They wouldn't know what to do, man.
Yeah.
Scary, dude.
Dude, because you got trains that got to get this shit to the place. You got trucks that got to take it from the train to the store.
It
all that
won't
shit
work.
The
Pepsi guy can't get the Pepsis there. Like once that computer's off, it's off, brother. Yeah. Period.
I work the same, man. Our shit's all computer, but when it goes down, we go back old school, just off paper.
Yeah.
And then it's a bitch after switching it from paper back to computer shit.
Jeez, man, you got a rough job. I highly respect you, PG&E guys. I appreciate that they blame you guys for the fires because then the feds have to funnel the money through you guys. You guys have character. You put the lines up. You get everybody started after it's destroyed, and that's cool. I mean, as long as it's not hurting you guys. Some people get mad, say you blaming us for all the fires, but who else are we going to give the money to, man?
Yeah. No, what you got to understand, I'm sure they do in other states. They have tornadoes, they have hurricanes, typhoons, shit like that, right? We had 75, 80 mile per hour winds going, and a fire started. Yeah. I mean, that's nature. That's nature. Yeah, you never heard anybody.
Get out of the way. Main thing, get out of the way.
You never heard somebody sue Hurricane Katrina because it was a hurricane that came. It's just that California has a different set of regulations where you're allowed to sue anybody for whatever the fuck you want.
Sometimes, too, some of the issue is, like I said, that we need a lot of money to repair this stuff. And the way the money works, there's so much politics, this and that. But if you run it through PG&E, it typically 90% of the money's going to get used for the right things. They're going to get, because they don't just fix the power. They clean the trees up. They get, subcontractors to do all kinds of stuff. So,
dude, that's some of the worst shit you will ever come across is the fucking debris after a fire, man. Because you got pools of asbestos put in these older homes, that were built late from the plaster. You got plastics. You got chemicals that were in the garage. Boric acid, fucking bleach, ammonia, all that stuff, and it's just pulled together, man. And fucking, I don't know those cats that are doing it, man. They have issues breathing.
Yeah, and they hire PG and they hire some subcontractors. They go in, try to clean it up. Sometimes it's you guys, but. I think it's a good how they do it as long as we're not hurting the families because some stupid fire broke out.
Oh, they're fucked, man.
They're already hurt because the fire is.
You know, my mom reached on me on this yesterday too. Most people that watch this show are from California. I know we do have some international viewers, but
what's going on out there?
I got clothes.
And the Canadians, we love you too.
I got all kinds of clothes in the closet. I know my girls do because we just went school clothes shopping. So if you can, man, go through your shit. Get the stuff you don't wear, you haven't worn in a couple years, whatever. Put it in a fucking bag and get it out to these fire victims, man. I mean, it's something little you can do, but it makes a big difference. And there's kids of all ages that are affected by this fire. There's men and women that are elderly affected by this fire. And they're going to need coats. They're going to need blankets. They're going to need socks, underwear, all that kind of shit.
And what I encourage you to do, if you're that hardened and you have clothes and stuff, get online, get in contact with an actual family that needs the stuff and get the stuff there. Because what we have right now, we have a bunch of organizations collecting up all these clothes with no organization on getting it to the people that need it. So there are warehouses sitting around full of clothes, and someone was smart enough to gather them all up, but he didn't take that step to organize it to the people.
You got to be able to push it out to get it to the people. Or churches is another good way. Churches usually organize and get shit. I seen the one down here in Galt had a 40-foot trailer full of everything. I mean, mattresses, chairs, tables, pictures. I mean, it would look like a mobile Goodwill unit, you know. Yeah. But they were going to the fires, and it said it right there, you know.
A good place to call Red Cross. They'll put you in touch with actual families that need help. Maybe they don't need clothes. Maybe you can help with whatever. But get with that family. If you're helping, get with that family directly and give your help directly. That's what I encourage you to do. Because a lot of times the help that you're trying to put out, if you give it to the wrong person, it's not going to get out there. But your heart was good, but it just didn't work.
Get on it, Willer. I'm going to shut that off. I'll be right back.
Got it. So, what do we got, Jason? What else you got?
Are we closing out Space Force?
We close it out.
All right. There we go.
How long have you been in the military? How long were you in the military?
Well, I'm a veteran of the Marine Corps, so I'm never out of the Marine Corps. But I did, on active hours, I did about 2.5 years. And my job was to kill directly for the president domestically. And
what do you mean?
We don't normally do that every day, obviously, because, dude, if a bunch of Marines are coming with freaking guns, even the soul starts to shake and they start complying. But
you didn't do any tours overseas or anything?
No, I'm one of the domestic Marines.
Okay. What about you, Fraish? How long were you in the military?
I was in for 91 days.
91 days?
Yeah.
How's that?
Over 3 months.
What happened?
When I was in my second week of basic, I got bit by a spider.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the next day I woke up, I had all the veins and shit on my arm. I mean, they were like raised like I was yoked.
Oh, wow.
And I went to go see the doctor, and they did some tests on me. I was allergic to like 26 insects. Dang. And I got a medical discharge, and it took like 2 months to...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. I didn't listen for 6 years, dude. I wanted to be a dentist.
With me, if I could have kept doing the job I wanted to do, I would have stayed in. I'd still be in the, active Marine working directly for the president. But the issue is you can't do that. You got to spend a year doing dishes. You got to spend a year on recruiting duty. You got to spend a year doing a bunch of stuff I really didn't want to do. And if I had to do it all over again, I might have sucked it up because I was young. I thought I'm going to go out to the real world. It's going to be easy because here they're on me all the time. It's structured, da-da-da. I got out here to the real world, and I had to work twice as hard to get to the same point. So, but I got there.
My thing was, when I first got there, I was homesick. I just married Amy, and I was calling her like, I want to come home. I could miss call to miss my family.
That was you?
Yeah, I was homesick, dude, for like at least a week.
Oh, that's all of the kids.
Yeah, and then after you get out of it and you start realizing this is your new set of brothers, this is your family now, then it's cool and you start kicking it and grabbing balls and fucking having a good time and shit. But
yeah,
military is a job just like any other job, but it's 24 hours a day. It's not 8 to 8.
Oh
8
yeah,
to 5.
I don't remember ever working a 9 to 5. It's it was a big job, but there was a lot of days I got up 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm home by noon or whatever. So that was kind of nice. I taught in the classroom adults for 7 days, and we go to the range for 7 days. I'm an expert in small to medium armed weapons currently. So, but just not into guns. After you carry a gun to like kill someone, I lost the taste for it, man. I mean, if you want to go out and shoot, cool, but it's just not my gig.
Yeah. No, I dig it. I trained all my kids how to shoot. My issue with my kids was I would say, hey, you want to go with me to the range? Take this gun apart, put it back together. If it fires, you'll be able to go.
Yeah.
That's what I want them to understand the inner workings of because it is a machine that kills people. That's what it is.
That's what it's for.
It's a machine.
And we need them, and the households need them. I'm not a gun control person. Everyone should have guns, and then we're all scared to break and entering because everybody got guns. But for now, it's in California. David's rules are too much, man. The liberals are too much. But the main thing in Texas, you can gun them in the yard. So you just put up a, different color fence, and everyone knows if you go on those properties, you get shot. And there's the crime's low, all that. But here they freaking baby the kids, and it's weird.
So it's safe to say you guys agree on a lot of stuff.
Probably.
Yeah.
Much.
I'm putting you guys together. Okay, I'm putting a barrier right here, and I'm separate.
You're kind of liberal a little bit.
If you're talking about the Second Amendment, I'm on that.
You're not talking about the homosexual stuff.
His homosexuality, I call infidelity.
Okay.
And mine can be with a man or a woman. Or like I've seen some weird shit where people get off on animals, or they have different fetishes where they...
Have you ever been with an animal, Jason?
Homosexuality. Well, I know when I was a kid, I woke up to a dog licking my balls.
What?
Before.
Is that where the rash came from?
But, other than that, nah.
What dog was it, dude? What dog was it, dude?
I forget now, man. It's been a while. But good thing I didn't have poison oak then. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so are we going to talk about aliens?
Let's do it.
We can finish up with aliens.
All right, let me hit this here. All right, close it out.
Go ahead.
But, yeah, I was excited about this topic because I believe in aliens. I believe that the atmosphere doesn't allow us to communicate with the aliens. For example, so if we go to space, we wear suits. I think I explained it to you earlier. When they come here, the atmosphere doesn't allow them to live. So the oxygen allows them to die, basically.
It's like burns them or something like that?
Yeah, burns them or whatever. So I believe that that's the case. And some of my evidence for this is they've taken material from what we believe is an alien body, and we put it in an incendiary and burned it. And we burned it to see how hot we could get it to burn it. But it never burned. It actually... so your mind can fathom what's going on. It's like boiling water. The molecules in it started coming alive at a temperature where anything on Earth will burn up. And they were never able to burn that thing. But
what do they do? Just take a finger or take its arm or something?
Yeah, they took a piece off of them and they put it in there and they turned that sucker up to burn it, and it never burned. And it tripped a lot of scientists out.
Where'd you see this at?
Just one little science show I've been watching, but that confirmed to me that the aliens, they're a different form of being. So sometimes we don't communicate out of fear. Sometimes it's just damn near impossible to get the communication.
My trip on it is like this. There are infinite planets, infinite solar systems. I don't think space ever stops. It just keeps going and going and going.
Probably.
So I think you would be hard-pressed now to find a scientist that says there isn't life out there. Because there is. There's life out there.
Oh, yeah.
And my trip on it, just use easy numbers that say there's another Earth out there just like ours that's 1 billion years behind where we're at right now. And there's another one that is 1 billion years ahead of where we're at now. And as we go through evolution and the human body changes, we're going to be something completely different 1 billion years from now than we are right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to look the same. I mean, they've already got it where if you take a human hand at the turn of the 19th century, the pinky finger, if you look at all the pictures, the pinky finger was a lot longer. We don't use our pinky fingers for basically anything now. Maybe to get a little bug or get in your ear or something, but
yeah, the ear.
If you look at a person's fingers, that pinky keeps shrinking and shrinking, and probably 100,000, 200 years from now, I think humans will be born with just 4 fingers.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Think
Well,
about it, man.
hey, it could explain some of this like transgender stuff we got going on. You know, the bodies are different, so
I've never thought about that, but that's a possibility. Maybe the mind is evolving, dude.
I don't know.
I'm just in awe right now of you guys, dude. Keep going.
Well,
I could go on for hours just
I didn't
listening.
bring up
Open your mind.
that
Open
with
your
the
mind, Will.
alien topic, but
What do you think about? What do you think about aliens?
I don't know, man. I'm listening. I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, but what
when's
do
the
you
last
know?
time you talked to aliens?
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
I feel like I'm on another planet right now.
He works with them every day.
Well,
Keep going. Go ahead.
I'm an American alien, all right? But, no, I think there is. I think with this new space force that they're going to run into a lot more than they think, man. We just found water on Mars. How long have we been studying Mars? They just found water. So it takes a long time, but at some point, they're going to find a different form.
Hey, you got water, you got life, dude. That's just the way it is.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
water's life. Yeah, I was telling Weller last week we got onto that. So I did some more research on Antarctica and the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
That dude that ran the trip was named Admiral Byrd, and he's got all his flight logs and shit. And if you check that out, I don't want to go over it and just give him not props on it, but read that shit if you're interested in it about the North and South Pole, because they don't let you see it on any map. On all those Google Maps, you can tell they're pieced together. There's pieces right where the center of the hole should be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. But Bird, when he's flying, he basically comes up to a part and he's like, "It's green. There's forests. There was a mammoth, and this is like in 1929, 1930. He saw a woolly mammoth walking up there, and he had a radio pilot with him to confirm all his stories, dude.
I got it. Santa Claus.
No, dude, it's
Santa Claus. The Santa Claus is there. They won't fucking show him.
no.
That could be a possibility. Either Santa Claus or there's just a bunch of people that learn to live there and their hair grows a little bit wild and all the stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a trip.
I'm
man.
gonna check it out.
Dude, check it out. I mean, there's tons of YouTube shit, and some of it's funny as fuck. But the shit that's seriously interesting that has to do with the military and shit like that, because you think about what was going on at that time when he did this flight. World War I was about to fucking go off. So everybody's kind of stiff about shit.
Huh. It's
And
pretty interesting.
sadly enough, man, this is what I feel about it. Until something like 9/11 happens again, or until war is actually affected on America, people aren't going to uprise and come together, man. I mean, look at those 61 shootings in Chicago last week.
It's kind of like my issue with the insurance people. What I've gotten, because I've made phone calls down there and said, hey, you're hurting Army people. They say, well, the law lets us do it, whatever. But what I'm finding out, they don't do it to enough families at a time. So over time, I remember when I was so pissed about getting hurt at work, not being able to get any kind of benefits and stuff like that. I talked to families, and it bugs me because it's like, hey man, if you remember that, tell your neighbor, let's get something going. And it takes all of the dads and moms to get together and say, hey, we don't want this like that. And that's what needs to happen. But we're so brainwashed in society, we just say, that's the way it is. We don't want to ruffle no one's feathers. Sometimes we are scared of some stupid murderer, but it is what it is, man. Like, we got to stand up together, push, and things will change.
That's what I was creeping on. I kept it in my mind, but going into the national anthem thing, the first time the national anthem was played at a sporting event was 1918. And the World War I was going on. So you have it's a Boston playoff game. They had a band and stuff because it's a playoff game. Well, there was a bombing in Chicago that day. And there was like 1,500 people killed in this bombing. The band just started up on the Star Spangled Banner, and all of a sudden military vets were like saluting. People in the crowd were hushed. They came together like 9/11. They were putting their hands over their heart. And then it was such a moment of silence and patrioticness that they started to continue the rest throughout the playoff series. And then as baseball ended and basketball season started to come into play, football season started to come into play, they started rolling the national anthem.
Oh, that's good history, man.
You know, and it's really cool. I mean, I'm not giving it justice, but if you look up how it started, it's really awesome, and it's patriotic.
So it had nothing to do with like stopping the cops from targeting the dark Americans.
Well, and this is what I wanted to say on that, man. Is that
Why, real quick, why do you always say dark Americans? Or
well,
what is that? Why is that
just,
term?
Well, because they've been on TV. They have me convinced that the cops are targeting them, and like they've been marching, they've been claiming it, all this stuff. So I mean, it is what it is.
No, I'm gonna say you say dark. Use the term dark.
Well, because I don't see the light Americans on TV like claiming that the cops are targeting them. Dude.
he's not using white or black; he's using dark or light.
Because you're all Americans, you know what I mean?
That's what I try to tell Weller. First of all, commonality, we're Americans. Second, we live in California. Third,
first we're humans.
We're Sac County. Well, that's a given, man. That's a given. That's that common sense. But this is what I gotta say about those guys kneeling and protesting and stuff. Where are you Monday through Friday? How come you're not holding these protest vigils or whatever they may be outside the stadium Monday through Friday? How come you're trying to use the national anthem as your...
Because they're using their platform.
It's not their platform. They're at work.
Yeah. It's like going to McDonald's.
They're working from...
down because
you can do whatever you want, basically. You have the right in America. You have the right to... You can't force patriotism. I would never kneel. I would never tell my kids to kneel.
Yeah,
but I would never tell someone they couldn't kneel.
It's not patriotism.
Okay, try doing this at work, though. In one of your meetings, when they have a meeting with all your...
You can't use me example because I could do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, but let me see you do this during a meeting, right? Just start protesting.
Yeah. I will. Nobody gives a fuck.
In fact, when they say it's lunchtime, say, no, I'm going to sit right here and not take my lunch because the cops are targeting the dark Americans. No, dude, you're going to go to work.
All
That's
I'm saying
my point. You
is
can't go to work.
If they're serious, Kaepernick can do so much more.
He does.
If he did it on a Monday, said, hey, everybody show up to
I ain't never seen him on the news talk
the
about
fact that you don't agree that
with a group
that people are being targeted. It's not even disputable. I mean, I was listening to the guy say all these numbers out, and it was like, this is not disputable. It's if you agree with it or not. Now, if you agree with what they're doing, you could say you don't agree with the platform that they're doing it on. No, you could say I don't agree, but you can agree. You can
changing the argument, man.
I think it's great. I think it's great what they're doing. Bring attention to it, but we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's what.
And if they didn't do that, we wouldn't be talking about it.
What I gotta say is I'm all for them protesting, doing their thing, but do it on your time.
Okay, but the fact that we're talking about it is because they did it on there. If they did it quietly on somewhere else and nobody's seen it, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Well, that's the thing.
Because they're not. Monday through Friday, they're not doing it.
When practice is over, he needs to be downtown Los Angeles with a bunch of people activating, get the news down there.
That's what I'm saying.
And create something instead of saying,
do it every day.
I'm going to spit on America because it's not the way I want it. You don't do that. You got to get out there and push, man, on your own time. You got to, like he's saying, you got to. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. But what I did want to share real quick is the eyes.
I like that they agree on everything. I'm glad I'm separated from this.
Hey, it beats getting toilet bowl, I'll tell you that. But the eyes sees the black and white color first. When you first see someone, subconsciously, you don't know that if you're not studied, but the eyes see black and white. Sometimes the black, it takes a negative effect in our subconscious or whatever. So over time, especially if you're a police officer, you audibly need to tell yourself that all colors are good and people are good and give them the benefit of the doubt, and the ones that mess up are going to mess up.
Fucking wow. I actually agree with that.
If you're not educated, you're probably going to target ones more because it puts a negative on the...
the definition of black is negative and the definition of white. But you're right. I actually agreed with him on that. That's crazy.
What I do, I want to give props to the dark American. They're the first ones to get together. What I notice, even if they're wrong, they get together and they push together and they stand up for because some of that stuff they stand up for is garbage. But it's
garbage to you.
But the respect,
because you live in a bubble.
Well, to me though, the respect is that the fact that they rally together, they stick together, and I don't see that quite in the light Americans.
We're gonna have to Close it out. So any closing thoughts, Jay?
Closing thoughts. Anybody you think that misunderstands you, explain who you are.
I want to tell everyone internationally what's up because I don't get a chance to do that.
Tell our Japanese. We got like 25 Japanese ladies that check this out every week.
Yeah, the Japanese ladies, I love you too. And I just want to say what's up to everybody. We care about you. We love you.
What about the third grade all-star Corey Taylor?
Corey T, I'm glad you brought him up. I'm not sure where he's at right now, that kid, but he's still doing good.
You guys were all-stars, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, Little League all-stars.
That's what I thought.
And he in fact, he's a veteran now and all that, now in his old age.
Old guy.
And he's a good kid. So what's up? Shout out to Corey T.
I want to say shout out to Corn Dog, to Harry Balls, The Big Show, the girls, and Tito at the balloon thing. I love everybody.
I'm in awe of these guys.
What
I'm
up?
in awe of these guys. I'm going to go home and commit some homosexual acts right now. Peace.
Out.